where all of a sudden, after Miriam pisses away, the wellspring ceases to be, and they gather around Moshe Rabbeinu with a complaint, and they begin quarreling with him. And they say, Loma Havesem Eskala Hashem al Midbar Zelomus Anachnu Ubireinu. Why did you take us into the desert to die? We and our livestock. Why did you bring us up from Egypt? To bring us to this bad location. It's not a location you could plant. It's a desert. Uteno, figs, gefen, rimo, mayim, and lishtos. And there's no water. So over here, if you take a look in the Siforno, he says the quarrel here was with Moshe Rabbeinu. Why did you bring us here? But factually, they had a claim against Hashem also. This is the new generation. Because later it says, when we speak about the Memorivo, it says they had quarreled with Hashem. I mean, if the claim here, it seems to be the claims against Moshe Rabbeinu, where are they quarreling with Hashem? And that's where do we see it's alluded to that they had a claim against Hashem? Why did you take us out of Egypt? I mean, Hashem took them out of Egypt. It's not just the present. Out of Egypt, that's Hashem. So not only was there a complaint against Moshe Rabbeinu, that the location is not the location. If ultimately this is where he brought us, why did even Hashem allow us to leave Egypt? So over here, there's a Balaturim. Take a look at the Balaturim. Hey, Lobe Helisuna. Look the way the word Helisuna is written. The Vav between the Tuf and the Nun out there, it's a Shuruk. So he writes, Chosevov, Shikra Turumos, Hoyal Moshe. We're talking about it's Aaron and Moshe. So the claim was against both of them, but factually the primary claim was against Moshe. That's why it's written in the spelling in the singular rather than the plural. So he says, Chosevov Sheika Tarumos Hoyal Moshe. Okay. We have a Moshe Varam Neakol, El Peschol Moed, Vipla Pneim. They came because of the cold to the Peschol Moed, and they prostrated themselves, meaning they're already like throwing up their hands. Now, this is very important. Since the Moshe, take the staff. Gather the congregation. You together with Aaron, your brother, the Bartem, and you in the plural. But somebody asked yesterday, why did Aaron die? Because the name Riva, Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who struck the rock, not Aaron. But yet we find over there the command was what? Both of you should speak. There's a joint participation, and then it will give forth its water. But say so. And then you'll be able to extract water from the stone. And you'll be able to water the congregation and their livestock. Okay. So firstly, he spoke to both of them. You should take the mater. You should gather the people who you and your brother Aaron v'dabartem. So the gathering is Aaron and Moshe v'dabartem alasela leineim, and both of you should speak to the rock. Therefore, we find when Moshe struck the rock, there's culpability to both of them. Either because Aaron shouldn't have allowed Moshe to strike the rock, because the command was both of you should speak to the rock. And Aaron participated in this. So has the same liability. So if you take a look over here, he said to Moshe, Hakel es ho'edo. The didn't say just gather all the Jews. Ho'ed means the most special of the Jews. Elu atorim hagdolim shemedo. These are the most pure, the leaders of the congregation. Ulu also came. Moshe didn't follow Hashem's command. Elo vayakilu Moshe around es hakohol. He assembled the ordinary people. Hashem says ha'edo. And it says they gathered the people, the congregation, Gedolim Ktanim, and that was a problem. Because when he gathered them, the way they spoke out of turn. If he would have gathered Ho'edo, the leaders, the leadership were people of special status, they would have spoken differently. But because Moshe gathered, didn't follow the instruction exactly, he gathered all the people. Rashi says, Gedolim Uktanim, therefore it says, they spoke out of turn. And because they spoke out of turn was disrespect, therefore Moshe actually became angry. And because he became angry, he struck the rock. But it seems if he would have followed Hashem's instruction from the very beginning, only gathering the Gedolim, the Torah and the Gedolim, this wouldn't have happened. Hashem says to them, you will give them, the water will come forth from the rock. The shkisa eso'edo es bi'irom. And you water the edo, ves bi'irom. And their livestock. So take a look in Rashi, ves bi'irom. Mikan shechosek kodesh baruch hu al mamonim shel Yisrael. I mean, what was the original claim? You took us to a desert, and we and our livestock are going to die. You know, a person is concerned it's going to die. Do you think about your livestock? Give us water, we should live. But when they came with the complaint, they said, we and our livestock are going to die. Hashem says there'll be enough water not only for you, but even for your livestock. First, where are they coming from? Without the livestock, that was the financial backbone of the Jewish people. If that dies, they're still in a precarious position. So they asked, not only they asked for water for themselves, they asked water to maintain their wealth. The livestock. You know what Hashem said? You know, you people, you're asking inappropriately. If the claim is you're going to die, I'll provide water for you, not to your livestock. But Hashem makes it a point. Not only would I provide water for you, it's even for your livestock. So Rashi says, that not only is Hashem concerned for the Jews themselves, he's even concerned that they should have their wealth. They should be able to retain their wealth. So therefore, not only is he providing water for the people, he's providing even enough water even for the livestock. So the takeaway is Hashem is concerned for the possessions of the Jewish people, that the livestock shouldn't die. So I asked the question. Until Miriam passed away, when originally the bear was provided, right? The original wellspring. Was there enough water coming out of that rock to water the livestock? For 39 years, almost 40 years, there was enough water coming out of that rock. The water ceases. And now it comes back. He says, not only provide water for them, I'll even provide water even for the livestock. From here we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu Salman Shel Yisrael. And what was going on for the past almost 40 years. There was enough water coming out of this rock, not only for themselves, even for the livestock. So why the original water that Hashem provided, why was that an indication, a confirmation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Salman Shel Yisrael? It's an obvious question. You have the question, Alan?
Yes, Rabbi.
What I said in the past was, I mentioned a Shalach Kodesh who had pointed out that when we left Egypt, leaving Egypt, closer at the time of the Gula, it's the equivalent, the beginning of what? Of a new creation. Now we're on our ascent to become closer at Sinai. This is what we call Hasola Sabriya. This is the beginning of creation. And that's what we find, that the month of Nisan, which is the month of Gula, Jews are supposed to do special chesed. As Hashem did, we weren't worthy in our own right. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out. So just as we say, Olam Chesed Yiboneh, what was the impetus to create the world? Chesed, it's Chesed Hashem. That we left Egypt was because of Chesed. Was unlimited Chesed. So because this is the beginning, since this is the beginning of a new creation, going to Sinai to become a different reality, we're becoming the Odom. Odom is evolving into the being. What Hashem created the world for Odom. As a result of that, Olam Chesed Yiboneh. Even though we weren't worthy, it's Chesed. Okay? When Hashem created the world, there were all kinds of people in this world. Tzaddikim, Rishoyim, middle of the road people. If you want to have a world, you have to have all the amenities for human beings to exist. If this is the beginning of the Bria, when we left Egypt, there had to be water provided for them, even in the desert, because that was a necessity. It had nothing to do with our merit. That's not our merit. That's a reality of what? Of our state of being. So that Hashem provides water, it's not because HaKadosh Baruch Hu schos al mamam shel Yisrael. Not because he has special concern for our possessions. We're existence. What about once the water is withdrawn? We already became Odom. He already provided water. Now Hashem withdraws the water. Once he withdraws the water now, it's not so simple. Now you have to have a worthiness for the water being reinstated. So the people, we understand, why is he providing water for the livestock? Therefore, this is a confirmation. Specific shel Yisrael. It's because Hashem is not only concerned for their lives, he's even concerned for their assets, which is what? Which is the livestock. That's what the proof is from here, not from what he provided water for during the whole 40-year period. Because that was existence. Now it's withdrawn. To come back is not simple. This is what I said. We say in the second Baruch of Shemon Esrei, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed. Hashem provides life with chesed. You have all kinds of people born into this existence. Tzaddikim, Rishoyim. So why is the Russia born? Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed. A world, that's what a world is about. What about to come back into existence? Once you left, what level of worthiness do you need to come back? To come into existence, it's chesed. But to come back, even rachmin is not sufficient. You need rachmim rabim. You need an enormous amount of rachmim to be resurrected. The same thing. Initially, it's mechal k'chaim b'chesed. We're evolving to become Odom at Sinai. Olam chesed yiboneh. That Hashem provides water, provides life, that's chesed, that's the creation of the world. But now that you've lost it, the water is no longer there to be reinstated. Now we have to make an evaluation. Are you worthy? You're not worthy. So if you're not really that worthy, so why did he provide it? The answer to this is a special aspect of Rachmanis, of concern, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu chos al mamam shel Yisrael. Okay? That's what I said in the past. We find that until the Mun, right? We find the Jews asked for water, and Hashem says, strike the rock, water will come forth. But Yavo Amalek, we're still before Sinai. We only became Odom at Sinai. This is still part of the evolvement of Odom. Over here, we're Odom already. Now, as Odom, you failed. You're not worthy. Here, there's a claim against them. How do you speak this way? It says, "V'yulonu, v'yoravon." They complained, they quarreled, something. If that's the case, for you is one thing, because there has to be a Jewish people. But what do you need all this wealth for? You're not deserving. Let your wealth perish. The answer is, even though you're not worthy, Hashem went the extra mile, because that's the reason. Because here they were truly not worthy. They didn't deserve it. They should have lost it all. Hashem had to override the system to provide water because HaKadosh Baruch Hu Saman Shel Yisrael. There are many opinions. What exactly was the sin of the Mei Meriva? The Torah uses the term, "You did not believe in me." So now the Sforno addresses Alan's question. If Hashem's intent was only to speak, so why did he tell him to take the staff? If the way the water was come back was only through speaking, why did he ask him to take the staff? Who struck the rock was Moshe, not Aaron. So why is Aaron held liable over here? What was the whole point of this? Hashem wanted the Jews to recognize their failing. It says they originally came and they complained. Then they quarreled. This was a lack of faith. Hashem wanted them to recognize their failing to do tshuva. Yeah. Shiakiru rishas rivosam, v'tzvad v'chatosam v'shavu, v'ripei lomo, and they should do tshuva and they'll be healed forever. Kilo yachvos mosames, as the Navi says, Hashem doesn't want the person to die because of the sin. Therefore, there was a double liability. Moshe was liable, was accountable, and Aaron was. He explains. Omnam Hamarivo in Moshe Isa Ba'omro Shoisa Nogoso Bilti Shlemo. There was a direct complaint against Moshe Rabbeinu that your leadership is faulty. Why? Moshe Hevi Osamel Osa Achela Kara Me'amidbor. You took us to a location which is not a good location. That's your leadership. Well, Akel Yisbor Choisim Rivosam, this, but they also had a complaint against Hashem. You took us out of a settled location into this location. And why did you take us out of Egypt? This is a complaint against Hashem. So to make them understand what exactly the seriousness of their issues, of their evil, is chayev shianes modia shashliach hayemanik b'shleimus. So the Nes had to include two things: that the leader's leadership is perfect, shemeshaleach heitiv b'shlichuso v'lo hera klal, and the one who appointed Moshe to be the agent, everything is what is on a perfect level. There's nothing negative here. There was a double complaint. Moshe Rabbeinu, you took us to a bad place. Your leadership is faulty. In addition, why did Hashem take us out of Egypt? So there's a claim against Hashem. So this now, what has to happen, both things have to be clarified. Moshe is a responsible leader. And in addition, it's not Hashem took you from a good place to a bad place. That statement is totally unacceptable. Ubiyosa mine anisim hamsuporim b'kisvei hakodesh. When we speak of miracles throughout Tanakh, they manifest themselves in one of three ways. Well, you read the Samoter. You have nature, it rains. There's a drought, it rains. That's called Nes Nistar. That's a concealed miracle. It hasn't rained, it rains. They say, well, these things happen. We're not exactly moved by something which is within the context of nature. Person recovers from an illness. It may be a miracle. The doctor may call it a miracle, but people recover. There is such a statistic. That miracle, tzaddikim were able to bring about through that tefillah. People not worthy of rain, you pray, the tzaddikim pray, rain comes. Person's ill, you pray, the tzaddik prays, the person recovers. Right? Avimelech was going to die because he took Sori Menu. Hashem says, Avram will pray for you, you're going to recover. So it was a nes, but that nes was within nature. It wasn't over it. It wasn't something supernatural. Moshe Baraom, Vabesu Nes Niglo. And Nes Niglo means a revealed miracle, something supernatural. It's not within the context of nature. Water turns to blood, or sand turns to lice, or all the miracles. But there has to be many actions done to bring about that supernatural act. There has to be human intervention. There has to be many things taking place which activate the supernatural act. Like Hashem said earlier about Amakos, go strike the Nile, strike the earth, or whatever it may be. Kinyan hashlichu arzo, take the staff, throw it to the ground, will turn into a snake. Harim ismatcho v'kisatzur. Originally, take the staff, strike the rock. This is the first time the water came. So that Nes Niglo Goloi came through a human intervention. An action had to be done to bring it about. Without it, what wouldn't happen? Hagimel, what is the third level of supernatural act? It's not within the context of nature, it's supernatural. And Hashem will bring about this miracle through his servants. Second. Which comes only through speech, not an action. It comes about not through a physical act, but through speech, which is at a higher level. As what happened, Moshe said, let the earth open its mouth and swallow up the congregation of Korach. That miracle was at another level. When Moshe finished speaking, it says, Vatiboko Adamo. The earth was split open. When the sun stopped in the middle of the sky, Yeshua, it says, Ozi Daber Yeshua, Vine Inyan Zos Hamarivo, Hoya, Minahechrich, Lahavius, Roas, Plunas Yisrael. What was the point of this miracle? They came with a complaint. The leadership is faulty. Hashem shouldn't have taken us out. It's to reveal and to communicate the goodness, the responsibility of the leader, its full responsible leadership, and the Mishalech, and the goodness of Hashem. That Hashem has chosen him, that he should bring about the ultimate goodness to his people. So by Moshe Rabbeinu speaking, not having to do an act, a physical act, it's another level. Asher yuchal ateva klal olav b'shum ofen b'shum zman. Is bar malas haMashiach b'min habeis ben anisim hanase betruas hashaliach haroy l'zeh. You have to do some kind of action. That's the proof who you are. Ubchein tziva li'yisbo shiyapoch haselu l'mayim v'amru v'nosem memov klomar shi'amayim min hasela lo nibshochim mokom achi elov. Meaning it's coming out of this rock. It's something more concrete. When he speaks to the rock, it will come out of that rock. There had to be some kind of, it's not, there was water in the rock. The rock became a different entity. If the water came from elsewhere and just flowed under the rock, if it's coming from elsewhere, what are we speaking about? The rock. A rock is a flintstone. It's coming out. Flintstone is more, in the denseness of that stone is more dense than any other stone. And from that stone directly, it's not it was drawn from elsewhere. It was flowing out of the under the rock. It came from the rock. That this miracle should come through dibur, through the speech of his servants. This is the most advanced level of miracle. Hashem wants to perform a miracle at a level the most advanced to show the goodness of the one who appointed Moshe. That although he took him out of Egypt to a desert, when Hashem's with you, regardless of what the setting is, you're in the best place, better than anywhere in terms of physical existence. Because Hashem in a moment could turn the desert into an oasis. As he's turning the rock into the source of water, he could turn this midbar into that. If Hashem's here, everything's here. Kamro, Hamidbar Hayisi li Yisrael. Okay, we're gonna leave it here. The buzzer went off. You finish up this.